motherhood, fatherhood, parenthood in general, it's never ending. Even when you're 30 years old, 40 years old, you're calling your mom, you're calling your dad, you're asking for, solutions, advice, everything. So it's like, we just have to keep it going and pass it along that, we all do need help. Like, there's never going to be a time where you have it all figured out.
Yep.
So it's like, no one did it better than you. They just did what worked best for them at the time.
Exactly.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 2.
Numero dos.
We got wine this time.
How's your October going? Me and Wendy were just talking about Halloween because she chose to wear a Chucky sweatshirt today.
Because I'm on demon time.
There you go. Whatever that means. I don't know what the kids be saying these days. But I was just telling her, like, I'm not sure if we're celebrating Halloween this year because I was doing some research on the origins of Halloween because I feel like we need to be informed of the things that we're doing and where they came from, where they started. So yeah, I'm not sure if I want to celebrate Halloween. My kids really want to. I don't know. What is your take on Halloween?
So, like, I don't know. Like, I understand, like knowing where the origin came from, like, what's actually behind Halloween. But for me, I don't take things too serious. So it's like, my kids dress up in costumes every day.
Yeah.
So it's like, when Halloween comes around, like, we'll go to, like, a Harvard Fest or anything that's kid-friendly. But then at the end of the day, like, if I do ever take them trick-or-treating, I think I'll just get the candy and throw it out or donate it because that's wasteful, right? But I don't trust people enough to go to random people's houses and give my kids their candy. So I'll definitely let them experience it once because I enjoyed it. And I don't want to take away from the, like, I don't want to look too deep, but we have to look deep right now because everything that goes on in this world is kind of crazy. But at the same time, like, I don't want to steal that childhood joy from them that we had. And we didn't think deeply about it when we were kids. We just was going out. Right. Like, I don't care if someone started this because they wanted to kill people and chop them up, leave them in the basement. Like, that's what I was doing. But, I just feel like everything doesn't have to be so deep.
Yeah. I guess I'm trying to find the balance in choosing to do the right things for my kids and then recognizing when it's just something, for them to experience. We have so much that we have to consider and think about all the time, and it's very overstimulating.
Very, very. Just thinking about trick-or-treating or not trick-or-treating, letting them wear costumes or not let them wear costumes. It's too much,
Being
right?
a parent in general is overstimulating. So let's get into it because that's a topic that we were going to discuss today anyway. So it's the perfect segment. I'm going to read the definition for you guys. Sensory overload is the overstimulation of one or more of the body's 5 senses. People will respond differently to feeling overstimulated, but symptoms often include anxiety, discomfort, and fear. I'm going to just give you guys some of the symptoms, and you guys, as I'm reading the symptoms, reflect and think about if you relate to any of these things in your day-to-day when you're parenting. All right, common symptoms are the inability to ignore loud sounds, strong smells, or other types of sensory input, a sense of discomfort, anxiety and fear, extreme sensitivity to clothing or other textures, feeling overwhelmed or agitated, irritability, loss of focus, relentlessness, stress, insomnia. Do you feel like you ever experience overstimulation as a parent?
I think the question is, when are you not overstimulated?
Period.
Because I'm always
that is the question.
Right?
That is the question. I mean, I can't say I'm always overstimulated, but 9 times out of 10, depending on the day, I do get overstimulated and I actually feel guilty about it sometimes because one of the symptoms were agitation. Like when my kids are just doing a lot, and I didn't even recognize that it was overstimulation, but knowing that there's a name for it made me feel a lot better about like getting snappy with them when I'm feeling whatever I'm feeling, and it kind of made me recognize that when I'm in that moment, I need to like step back, think about what's happening, process everything so that I can move forward without being snappy with them. But let me know your experience with overstimulation. What are some examples of things that overstimulate you on the day-to-day?
I know when I'm talking to my children, I'm asking them to complete a task and they just look at me blank stared like, or when I tell them to do a task and they do the complete opposite. So it's like, I'll ask them to clean their room and then I'll come in the room and they'll be sitting on the floor playing a game or just talking it up, and I'm just like, I told you guys to clean the room, and they're like, okay, Lily. And then it's like, I don't react the right way because normally I would probably like scream, but I'll just stand there and I'll just look at them and I'll just walk away because I'm overstimulated. And if I react right now, it's going to be nuts.
Yep. When you said that, it reminded me of a time where when I first moved back from New York, and I just had a very traumatic experience that brought me back here. And I was living with my mom for 3 months. I was overstimulated every day, living in a small apartment with my mother, my stepdad, my little brother, my 2 kids. That in itself was a lot. But my kids were small and they were very energetic, all over the place sometimes. I know you can relate. And there was one time where, I don't even remember at this point what my kids were doing. Whatever they were doing, my mother was just like, why aren't you saying anything? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I started thinking about it. I'm like, I don't know why I'm not reacting. I was just sitting there like, look, I'm in real time. Like, I'm looking at them, but I could not. Like, I didn't have the energy to say anything. I was just, but because she's so far removed from that time, because her kids are all big, she probably doesn't remember the stage where they were small and so much was happening around her, she couldn't react to.
No, I think they do remember, but they feel as if they handled it in a better way. And they don't, so like now that we understand what overstimulation is and we're able to pinpoint it and actually have a word for it, we're using it all the time.
Yeah.
I'm walking around, I'm overstimulated. I'm like every second of my life, I'm overstimulated. But my mother, she did not know what that word was back then, and she wouldn't have used it properly. But her overstimulation was yelling. Her overstimulation
her response to being overstimulated.
Backhanding. Like, oh, I'm just joking. My mom didn't.
Did she hit you?
Oh no, they can't.
You're grown now.
Oh,
they can't take it away from me.
Oh my God, she's going whoa, but.
You're traumatized. You thought DSS was coming for you. They're not coming.
Listen, in your household, you're not supposed to tell nothing about nothing, so I'm still trying to keep it that way.
That's crazy. You're grown with 3 of your own kids, and you thought that you mentioned that your mother hit you was going to get you taken away.
Listen. Everyone's listening, so you never know. But I guess they can't take it away. But just honestly, their overstimulation was different, right? So it's like for them, when we got on their nerves, I don't know if they actually sat down and tried to reevaluate the situation, because it's like for us, we're always thinking so much, and that's why we're even more overstimulated, because we're worrying about our choices. We're worrying about how we're raising our children. And it's like for them, they were more so in survival mode. That they didn't have
They didn't have time. They didn't have the bandwidth.
And I don't even know if they cared. Like,
maybe they didn't know they needed to care. Maybe they were doing what they knew, and that just that obviously came natural to them.
Yeah, because it's like
what they knew.
When my kid gets on my nerves and I yell at them or raise my voice, because I don't think I yell, I just raise it a little higher so that they can listen. They just look at me, and I'm just like, I'm like, wait, you're not gonna do what I said? But it's like for my mom or my dad, when they raised their voice or they yelled, it's like
that was it.
That was it. Like whatever I was doing was done.
Yeah, my mother didn't have to hit me. I was scared of her just from her yelling at me.
No, I think I don't know. I was scared either way. But if my mom was about to hit me,
you were really scared.
I was really scared. I think I was really scared, but then after I would have to like walk around the house so that she knows what she did to me. And she would not react. Like, okay, say I got in trouble, my mom would line us up and spank us. All of us.
Even if it was just you that got in trouble?
She would just line us up, okay? And then spank us. If it was one person that got in trouble, then fine. But I'm saying, if we all got in trouble...
So she was being overstimulated by all the stuff y'all were doing. How many of y'all? Can you tell them how many?
There's 6 of us.
So, okay, let's set the scene for y'all. There's 6 children. What's the age gap?
Oh, girl, I don't... There's 2 years between each other. 2, 4, whatever.
6 children running around being crazy. She don't know who's doing what. So she just lining everybody up.
Just lining us up. And then she would be like, put your hands out. And then you have to put your hands out. And then she got that belt. And pow! And if you moved your hand and she didn't get you, you got to start again. So it's like, her that's what she knew. right? So it's like after the fact, I thought a normal person, but would sit down and reevaluate what you just did to me. You just beat me. You just hurt me. And I would think that she would apologize, right?
And
No, so I would literally walk around the house sulking, thinking she would respond. And she'd be sitting on the chair watching her show, and I'd walk by like, and no response. And I'm like, damn, y'all cold-blooded. But it's like, for me, my kid right now, if I don't hit my kids, but if I had to and I pinch, if I yell at them, my son's like, Mommy, you scared me. And then like in that moment, I'm frustrated. But then like when I calm down, if I say, I'm like, I'm sorry, Papa. Like, and I feel bad. And then it's like, now I'm watching him to see if he's reacting to how I treated him. And I feel like I need to apologize again or give him a hug and let him know, like, Mommy, you just upset me for a second, but like, I'm okay. And I feel so bad that like, I always have to overthink that.
When me and the kids first lived in my apartment here, and I was still learning how to manage a household by myself, because in New York I had my own apartment, but their dad was still coming over to help me. Mm-hmm. But now I'm doing it by myself 24/7, and they're 2 and 4. And so I was getting overstimulated a lot. And I would go to yelling, not all the time, but some of the times like I would get impatient and yell at them. But then I started to see my son treating my daughter the way that I was treating them. And that made me sit down and be like, oh no, okay, we got to figure out what's the solution for you and managing your emotions, because I didn't like what I was seeing. Like when you're doing it to somebody else, you're not looking at yourself, but seeing yourself in somebody else and not liking how that looks, that did it for me. It's like, all right, you need to sit back and make a change here, because you can't have this with your kids. So I don't know if our parents did that.
It's like, it's so funny when you just gave that prime example, because my sister best friend, I'm not gonna put her name out there until I'm ready, but the other day she just had an example. Like she's like, if someone we can talk trash to each other all the time, but if someone else talks trash about the same trash that we was talking, now she's like, wait, you can't talk trash? Like, oh no, you got crazy. Like I can say that about you, but you can't, someone else can't say that about you. So it's like you get offended and you take a seat back and you're just like, wait, that's not right. Like when that person said, it's like, damn, should I be saying that to you either? Like, does that really hurt your feelings? Right. But like, we're toxic, so we're still doing it to each other. We'll definitely still do it to each other. But like,
as long as you're both okay with it.
Oh no, we're definitely okay with it.
That works.
Yes, it's consensual. We're doing it together. But at the same time, it's like when you look at your kids doing that or someone treating them the way that you treated them, you're just like, wow. Yeah. Like I feel so bad, and that's why when someone says you're not supposed to do it that way, it's like, what's the real right way? Yeah. And there's no perfect human being. So it's like, you can't tell me that your tactics were way better than mine if you don't really know the effect that it had on that person. Yeah. And everyone's different, right? Exactly. So
we were raised differently. There are a whole bunch of different things that contribute to who we become. But the thing about becoming is that is evolving. So we don't just become a person and stop there.
You thought you got that. You thought
I did.
You thought you did that right.
I did. I did.
Think about yeah.
So one of the things that I recognized I needed to have is structure. Structure in my house, a schedule for my kids. Otherwise, they're all over the place. If they have a schedule, they're not going to be all over the place. Malia is still learning how to read, so I still have to help her get through the steps. But I got a board that I put on our fridge, and it has a time for everything and steps for every day, Monday through Friday, for what they should be doing. Now, do they always do everything? No, but is it better than what it was before when they had nothing to follow? Yes. So again, we're practicing, but one of the things that was overstimulating for me is just when they would get home from school, because I work from home. So them coming home from school and me not having anything in place for them. So they're just here, there, coming in the camera when I'm in meetings, different things like that. It was too much for me, and it was causing me stress while I'm working. And then after, I would be upset because, it wasn't their fault that they had nothing structured for them to do. That was my fault. So I had to put that structure in place. So that's one of the things we practice. We're still practicing, but it's a lot better. So I have less overstimulation. And then another thing that I do when I'm feeling overstimulated by them, because like you mentioned, how you'll tell your kid to go do something and they're just staring at you like you're crazy until you yell. I don't like having to get to that point. Sometimes I still get to that point, but what I try to do instead of getting to that point is go away from them. Like you said, just walk away. Like I'll go to the bathroom and close the door. I'm not even using the bathroom. I'm just in there sitting on the toilet doing nothing. Looking at my phone maybe. Sometimes scrolling. If that's what I gotta do, that's what I gotta do.
I was reading a study the other day and it was saying that for us, when we're overstimulated, we actually shouldn't be on our phone. Because what we're
more
seeing
stimulation.
is
That's true.
It's like, I think now when I'm trying to read more in general. Like, I think that's something that we should try to push as well, is reading. Because now it's like we're reading these stories, but we're making up our own pictures, our illustrations in our own brain. So we're working overtime to try to get out the other stuff and work on just focusing on the thing that's at hand. So it's like when we're on our phone, we're seeing so many different things. And not only are we seeing different things, we're comparing and we're judging. And, you know, so it's like that might not help us calm down. But maybe we should just read a book. Pick something up.
Calm down.
No, I'm just saying.
I do like that. I do like that idea of reading instead. I was gonna say I don't read my books. I do Audible because it's hard for me to read with my kids.
Ooh.
But in those moments where I'm running in the bathroom, I like my Audible because I get through my books and I'm still
reading is fundamental.
I'm still getting. I know how to read. That's all that matters. I'm doing what works for me though. Like you said, everybody's situation is different. I don't have the capacity or the space or nothing to sit and read a book and be able to focus without someone interrupting me. When I'm washing my dishes, I can listen to a book. But anyway, I was saying like that's a good idea. So I'm gonna try that. Instead, when I go to have my time in the bathroom, I'm gonna take a book. I have literally a bookshelf right next to the bathroom door. I can grab a book and go sit down and do that instead of scrolling. I'm gonna try that, and y'all should too.
See if it helps. But you just even talking, like us talking earlier about our parents, I think it makes me a little saddened to think that they were truly that overstimulated. And when I think about it even more, you saying you needed to have a schedule for your kids so that they're not doing nothing, which is going to cause more overstimulation for you. It's like our parents didn't even think about, hey, the kids are bored in the house, jumping off couches, taking mattresses, going down the stairs.
Doing whatever to occupy their time.
Breaking the house because we have no structure.
Yeah.
And it's like they were so overstimulated, they weren't thinking about our daily activities, like what we should be actually doing. Like being in the house and watching TV, or just being in the house and going around, running around playing house and doing all those games that y'all remember, like that we shouldn't have been doing. But it's like all those things was a reflection of what our parents didn't have time to do with us.
Yep.
So it's like hopefully this generation is getting better at understanding that our kids need to be engaged and be involved, and we can't just sit them somewhere and think that it's okay.
100%. And for the people that feel like even if my kids did have a structure, they're not going to follow it or anything like that. I recently found that I've known this. I live really close to a Boys and Girls Club in my neighborhood, but I never went there to see about putting my kids in. So recently I was like, you know what? The schedule thing, it works, but I want them to do more activities, and I'm not rich. And I also am considering my time. And before I get there, another way I was overstimulated is the activities, like the dance classes and the music, all those classes, having to take them to all those things and working and doing my own things. That was a lot for me. And I was saying to you, like, I commend you for doing all of that, but I myself had to take a step back and say, like, you guys can only do one thing because I'm one person. I have nobody to share this responsibility with. But then I went to the Boys and Girls Club, and for $25 for the entire year, okay? Hear me when I say this is not a scam. The entire year, they can go Monday through Friday from 4 to 8 p.m. They feed them dinner. They do swim lessons 3 times a week. They do art activities. They do music activities. All these things for them for $25 for the year. So 3 times a week, they're going there. And so I don't have to feel bad about not being able to divide my time in all these areas. And then all the businesses that I'm doing, the things I'm doing on the side, I'll have time to do it. If I want to go to the gym, I'll have time to do it. You just have to really look. I know people don't like to do their own research. And so I try to share as much, but I can't reach everybody. So sometimes you're going to have to just simply go to Google, and look up what you need, honestly.
I'm definitely overstimulated in the questions. Like, my kids are very young, so my son's about to be 3, 4, and 5. So the questions just never stop.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like sometimes I'm being not a bad mom, but like not being able to have the capacity to answer all the questions because I'm trying to do stuff. And then I feel bad when I just like brush them off. But it's like, I get overstimulated just thinking about not answering the questions or being upset that they're even asking the questions. Because I'm just
I can relate.
It's like my middle child, she will literally ask me a question after a question to go back to the original question, like a full circle. So it's like,
and you have to be very intelligent to do that, because what the hell?
no, it's just like, it's like, you'll give her a kiss and she'll be like, are you kissing me because you missed me? And I'll be like, yes, baby, I missed you. You missed me because I was at school? Yes, baby. You missed because I was at school playing with my friends and you didn't have time to see. I'm just like, no, I can't.
So it's like she needs a reason. So like the next time you give her a kiss, you have to be like, I'm kissing you because I missed you because you were at school, baby.
Oh my!
You were at school because I needed time to do what I needed.
See, but it's like that right there. It's like,
right, it's a lot.
It's too much.
It's a lot.
To think that it just won't stop.
Yep.
And it just keeps going, and then you feel bad because you're like, I don't want to answer this question. Yeah. And then you're looking at your kids like, please get away from me. But then you're like, I don't want them to get away from me, because if I tell them to actually get away from me, they're gonna
hurt their feelings.
And then God is gonna affect them later on. They say my mom didn't love me. I'm like, oh my God, I don't have time for this.
It never ends.
I literally sit there and I'll wake up in the morning. I'm like, this is the song that doesn't end. Yes, it goes on and on, my friend. Some people started singing and I know, because it never ends.
It doesn't.
And then I sit and I'm just like, nobody told us this. Like, nobody told us. You think my mom sat me down and said, come here, let me tell you something. When you have a kid, you're going to be overstimulated. They're gonna
but the word they use is, well, maybe they don't use it, but it's like, oh, they were getting on my nerves.
Oh, they were getting on my last nerve. You know all the nerves I had? It was on the last one. The last
but really, one. That they were overstimulated, but they were saying they were getting on my last nerve. But they didn't know they were overstimulated, so how could they have told us that, you know? We had to learn it from our own experience, and then the word finally came out.
So it's like, there's a cause and effect. You were overstimulated. What do you think it did to me?
Yeah.
It's like, how are our kids affected by our overstimulation? And them not being able to express, like, Mommy, I'm sorry. Like, I just wanted this, or I need this. Like, they don't even know how to express their emotions. So it's like, we're only thinking about ourselves, how we feel at that moment. But how does your kid feel?
Yep.
You know, so it's like, just thinking about that in general is like, whew, it's too much.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Guys, we want you guys to respond in the comments and let us know what are some things that you do to cope with, or what are some solutions? Like, what are some things you go to combat that overstimulation? We want to know, because this is a community that we're building, and we want to be able to share any resources, anything that you do to help you. We're open to hearing it. Please share in the comments.
That was nice. No, honestly, because we don't want to just sit here and talk about situations. We want to actually engage and try to figure out solutions, because motherhood, fatherhood, parenthood in general, it's never ending. Even when you're 30 years old, 40 years old, you're calling your mom, you're calling your dad, you're asking for, solutions, advice, everything. Yeah. So it's like, we just have to keep it going and pass it along that, we all do need help. Like, there's never going to be a time where you have it all figured out.
Yep.
So it's like, no one did it better than you. They just did what worked best for them at the time.
Exactly. But we literally have so many resources at our fingertips. Like, if one of your things is going in the bathroom to get away from your kids, and you do like to go on your phone, go on Google and type in, how do I deal with overstimulation? Instead of going to Instagram to scroll. That's something we could do. If we don't got a book to grab, go immediately and go search how to deal with the things that you're currently trying to cope with.
Or we could start little challenges, like with your friends, your other mom friends, like, yo, every time you get overstimulated, go do 20 push-ups.
That's a good idea.
And then at the end of the week, let's see how many push-ups we done. Then I did 200,000.
That's a good idea.
I did 200,000.
So 2 birds with 1 stone.
Okay.
You're exercising.
Trying to.
And keeping yourself accountable
at the same time. Every time you get overstimulated, go do 5 push-ups, right? 20 is too
We're
much.
starting a challenge. Whoever wants to join, send us a DM.
Nobody told us podcast.
It's the why. It's the why.
Please send a DM to us. Don't worry, I love challenges. So if you guys come up with a good challenge, we'll post it and we'll get this going.
Yes. I think next time I'm not gonna do one. I'm gonna just come on here and water next time.
No, the wine was fine.
Not for me. Clearly.
The wine was. It was. Should I tell what's in the wine?
Go ahead, tell them.
There's some wine and what else is in here, Desha?
Splinters.
What happened? Desha opened the water, the wine, and
I was trying to open the wine, and I don't really have lots of experience opening wine bottles. They usually already open for me. I'm just kidding.
Oh my god!
But a piece of the cork got stuck inside. Yeah, just a piece. You didn't see the other half was on the counter. A piece of the cork got stuck, so I put the opener in, and it pushed it all the way down. And then I got wine in my face, and I cleaned it off before Wendy came back and said,
and then it's like in the wine. I had to take a spoon and take a shot. It's just a little bit, girl. I'm like, those pieces are gonna splinter your throat.
A splinter in her throat.
Yeah, that's logical.
Can somebody please tell her that wood creates splinters, not cork?
What's cork made of? Exactly, you don't know.
I don't know.
It's probably.
Now I gotta Google it.
It's probably wood.
Wait, let me Google it because no, I need to know.
Desha, we don't care about that.
I do.
Do you really?
Yes. You see, that's the problem. Y'all don't like to research nothing.
So on our next episode, we're gonna come to you guys with another topic that we want to prepare you guys for, because we actually want people to reach out to us in the DM and let us know their opinions about the topic so that we can bring it in the next episode, right, Desha?
All right, guys. So we're closing out the episode, and we want to ask that you guys DM us. For our next episode, which is going to be called The Phantom Effect. Essentially, we want to know, are there any stages of your kids' growth where you forgot about experiences that you had? So just giving an example, when Wendy talks to me about, because her kids are younger than mine, so when she talks to me about something that they've done that my kids may have done at 3 years old, I forget that it happened until she reminds me. So DM us at Nobody Told Us Pod and give us some ideas, and we'll talk about them in the next episode.